Here we go. Okay, so there's the code. And I'm going to create a title. Okay. And you'll notice that we covered description and keywords last class for SEO, which it doesn't help as much as it used to, but it's still good to put it in. So description about the page. Okay, some keywords: Mad Success, Rob, Ragusa, Durham, college, etc. Won't dwell on that too much. Okay, so we're at a point where we got a basic structure. What we are missing is our CSS linkage, and we can simply put that in there. I'm just going to take it from my existing site. There we go. Okay, so and we're just going to do a relative link to our CSS file right now, although there's nothing in it that exists. Okay, and here's where the fun starts. We're going to create a div with an ID of wrapper that's going to contain all of our code. Okay, so that's the setup that we're currently in right now. And right now the page doesn't look too exciting. It will look like this, which is blank, but it does have the title up there. Okay, Robert Goose's faculty, Durham College. So we're going to continue on building some CSS into it. I'm just going to have to open up my CSS file, which is blank at this point. Okay, and we're going to create a body, which is the main body. Make sure we got all that covered here. Let's start to see. Okay. Now we're going to see the padding is 0 pixels, and the margin is going to be 0 pixels. Font family, I'm going to use a font family of Trebuchet, I believe it's pronounced, specifically Microsoft, sans serif if that doesn't exist. And my overall website's going to have a font size of 12 pixels unless specified otherwise. And we're going to go ahead and begin building a wrapper. Okay. I'm going to position this relative. Very important positioning your wrapper relative so everything else is positioned to the wrapper. Anything that's contained within the wrapper will get positioned to that relative. So if it's top 0, left 0, then that's where every other element within is. Very important. And we're going to do this margin 0 pixels auto, which centers our wrapper. And we're going to do a width of in your final project it's 800, but for some reason it worked out to 1001 pixels for the Mad Success website, and the height's going to be auto, meaning it would fill up the screen. But again, for your project, there we go. For your project, you would have a height of 600 pixels. So I just wanted to be limited on the amount of space you guys had to work with because number one, it's not always up to you. Number two, you have a defined area in which you got to produce content in. So you have a clear path on how to complete the project, and I don't want anyone overwhelmed with how much content they should put in, etc., etc. So if they have 800 by 600, they should feel really good about filling that space because it isn't that big. Okay, so there we have a wrapper. And now when I'm first building a site, what I like to do is put a background color on the wrapper to sort of identify where the wrapper exists. Okay, and I'll delete it later, but it gives me an idea of the size of it and where it exists, etc. So just make sure my code's all good. Wrapper, wrapper, wrapper. Now, until I put something in the wrapper, then the height won't display. So for this example, I'm just going to make 100 pixels, and then bring in my page here, and there you go. Let me zoom out here. There's the wrapper. It's 1000 by 1 pixels by 100 pixels in height. Okay, just to give us an idea. And what I start doing now is fill that wrapper with content. A lot of good content needs to go in there, so I'm going to continue doing that. So the next thing I want to do is I want to display a link, which is going to link back to the index.html page. Okay, and it's got a title of homepage, and I'm going to give it an ID of Rob. Okay. Now I'm just going to zoom over here so you guys see what I did. So it's got an ID of Rob, which I'm going to reference in my CSS, and I put it in a span in between the A tags for home. So if someone has CSS disabled, they can see home. And the reason I throw it around the span is because now I'm going to have span disabled, so you can't see it when the graphic is displayed. So let me go ahead and bring up the CSS, and I'm going to cheat here and grab my old existing code to make things a lot easier. So CSS, scroll down, I'm going to paste in call this ID Rob. It's going to have an absolute position of 0 pixels, top, left 0 pixels as well, so that means it goes to the top left. And the width of my image is 182 pixels, and the height of it is 255. Okay, I'm just going to change the height of my wrapper back to auto. And I'm going to be linking to the image, which is called profilepic.jpg. And because it is a link, I need to display block, because by default an A or anchor tag is an inline element, and if you don't have anything inside of it, in this case we have the link home, but if you don't have anything inside of it bigger than the width of home, then you need to display block to have it display 182 by 255. And another piece of code we need to put in here, we need to identify the ID Rob, and then inside that ID Rob there's going to be a span element, and we're going to say display none. That's going to hide our, just going to save our files, our text that says home. So I'm going to bring that up here. Oh, where'd it go? Let's do that. There we go. Where'd the wrapper color go? No, it's absolute, that's why. So we don't see the wrapper color because the position is absolute and it's not relative to the wrapper, meaning it won't stretch the wrapper. So until we put content in there that stretches the wrapper, that's also relative, then it will bring down the wrapper. Okay, so there we have an image, we have a graphic, and as I roll over it, it becomes a link, and I can click it, the title tag comes up, and it takes me back to the same page. But the idea is if someone were to click on this, it would take them back to the home page. Okay.